Welcome. Welcome to our drop-in session on ToastHost. Thank you all very much indeed for joining us this Sunday evening. I would like to introduce Rory Graves, who is a creator of ToastHost, and I will leave it to Rory to introduce himself for him to tell us what he's going to talk about this evening. So, Rory, over to you.
Thank you, Janet. So welcome everybody. Welcome to those that are watching the recording afterwards. Hopefully you will gain a lot out of it and it's worth your time. So I'm Rory. A bunch of you know me already. I've been a Toastmaster in London for 11 years. It'll be 11 years in December. I think I joined on the like the 12th of December 11 years ago. I'm an IT person, right? I work with computers every day. It's Florian's grinning at that because he knows how much I work with computers. But one of the things is, I gained a huge amount out of Toastmasters and I work with IT and I like to give back to the things I work with. And one of the ways I do that is apply my skills to whatever area I'm doing. And when I started, there were some gaps, right? EasySpeak existed. Everybody used EasySpeak for managing meetings, great stuff. But actually, where I found the first gap was actually managing club websites, which is why the project was called ToastHost, because it was web hosting for Toastmasters clubs. So that started about 8 years ago, and it's been, progress has been varied. It's accelerating places, it's slowed down in places, life gets in the way, how this is. But it's slowly ticked along. Recently this year, Tannen has joined the effort, so he's been working very aggressively to add new features and develop the project more. And we really feel we're at a point now where it's actually a usable project just beyond like the simple basics. So the idea is really, my goal has always been, like, let's take away all of the stuff that makes running a club annoying. Right? What we want to focus on, what your club should be focused on, is developing members. And random administration, managing your website, dealing with guest lists or trying to send out guest emails, or all of these things are things, or just doing renewals. Right? Renewals takes a huge amount of time by your treasurer. So what can we do to help that? And that's where this started. And where we are now is EasySpeak is going through some transitions right now. Toastmasters is going through transitions. The learning program is changing, and keeping up with that is actually quite hard. So where we are is we have a project. It's live. It's usable right now. I'm going to show you around. This is going to be a very informal session, so do stop, ask questions. Yeah. The idea is I'm not going to cover every single detail. I'm not going to cover everything, but I want you to get an idea of what ToastHost is, where it's going, what you can do right now with it, and where it's going, and how it's going to go into the future. So literally, if you have questions as we go, just stop me and ask. So let's start by sharing my screen. So this is ToastHost website. This is actually my local copy, my development copy, so to make life easier. But when you go to ToastHost, you will come to this page. Now, you as a District 91 member can log in already, and your club will exist on the site already. You don't need to do anything that happens automatically. And you'll be granted access based on your relationship to your club. If you're a club officer, you'll have club officer access. If you're a club member, you have club member access. So first things first, how do you do that? Well, log in. The key here is to use your Toastmasters International email address. So this is the one you log into TI with. So this is mine. If you've never logged in before, it'll send you a one-time code, just like your bank does, or a lot of other apps now do. So you can log in. Once you've done that for the first time, you can then set up a password and you can log in with the password instead. So whichever your fancy. We have this, I have a demo mode. So demo mode hides all the lots of personal details. So when you see all these stars, it's basically blanking, so you can't see too much. So here's your base screen. If you are a member or an officer of a club, your clubs will be listed up here at the top. If you are on Pathways, I say if you're on Pathways, of course you're on Pathways. Of course you've gone to TI, you've logged in, you've set up your first path. When you do that, and if your club is set up here, you'll be able to manage your Pathways journey here. But see the speeches you've done, you'll be able to request new speeches and be able to track what's next on your journey. If you have upcoming speeches, you'll see that here, and you'll be able to see what you've done before. So, as I said, the main focus of ToastHost is to help clubs run themselves. So if I go to Grosvenor Square, now I happen to be an officer of Grosvenor Square, so when I log in here, I get to see lots of pieces, and we're going to go through some of these, but I'm mainly going to focus on a few key aspects. So where it started, let's forget meetings for a minute. Let's go. We've got Easy Speak. That's great. But how can I help a club run itself? There's two things we started with. The first is simply allowing clubs to have an instant website. If your club doesn't have a website right now, you can sign up to ToastHost and you can create and deploy one. And if you have a domain, so your own name, you can use it. If you don't, we have a few base domains you can use for your club. So it is not the most advanced website. This is it. Your club would look a lot like this, maybe different picture, different details, but all these details are pulled from the meeting setup. But that gives you a nice web presence if you don't have one. The second thing we wanted to do is make it easier for new guests to sign up. So what we did is we have a registration link, and your club will have its own registration link. So if I click on this registration link here, it asks the user, it asks the guest. So what we did in our club is we print out a QR code for this, so we can just basically get the guest to scan it on their phone. They can enter their details. I'm going to they found some meetup. They didn't put in their phone number. So they've now registered. What will happen is automatically at the end of the meeting, they will get an email from the club. It says, thank you for attending. If you're interested, here's how to find out more details. And in fact, we can configure all that in Agus. But here's Fred. He's registered. He's new. And we haven't sent him an email yet. So he'd be sent an email at 9:15, in this case, after the meeting. And here is the email we would send him. And obviously you can configure your email as you like. So the idea here is basically, I don't know about anybody else who here has had guests write down their name and email addresses on sheets of paper, and then half the time can't work out what the email address says. Yeah, as an IT person, this offends me, right? It just offends me. So having the idea of having them type their own email address into a form, surprisingly, people still get it wrong, but there's a limit to what you can fix, right? But what we can then do to help the club go further is one of the links in that email can be a registration link. So if they get this form, it's exactly the same content as the TI registration form, right, on purpose, right, in the same order, so they can fill in all their details. They have to agree to the releases, just like you would have to on the TI form, otherwise you can't create a member, and they register. Now, What they'll then get is a payment link. I'm going to go to membership here and you can configure payments. Now, if you've ever been treasurer, trying to work out what the payment fees are for your club when it's like you're halfway through the cycle, are they going to, when are they going to, so they're halfway through the month, are you going to continue this month? Are they going to officially start next month? So that means you've got 2 months plus 6 months, to work out your fees. ToastHost will take care of all of that for you. You set up uh, your club fees, how much your new membership fee is, how much the monthly dues are. You can also put in all the bank details. And if you create a Stripe account, you can also create a Stripe account and take online payment. So ToastHost can act on behalf of your club to take cards. So after they've registered, registered as a potential member, they will get an email. And if you're set up for card payment, they will get a link that looks a lot like this. One of the things that made me very happy when we first did this is we had a new member within an hour of a meeting finishing, which just blew my mind, right? The member had not only seen the form, registered, paid, and been registered on TI by the end of the evening, which was quite special for me as the person who built it. In the same way, you can also so you can see obviously your new members. If they'd registered, you get prospective members and past members. We keep the previous members from, if someone didn't renew, we keep them for a month on the current role, and then we move them to past members, and then they'll be moved off past members a few months later. So the idea here is, we don't want to keep details for unnecessarily long time. And a guest as well can click on a link to be removed from the guest list. They can register, or they can ask to be removed, or and so on. So it's very important to say, and it's important to me, we are fully GDPR compliant. Right? We treat all the details, we only maintain the details. In fact, ToastHost does not maintain the members' registration details in full. We only maintain the details that we need to operate, just like any other site that you use should. So after the details have been given to the VP, the treasurer, to be registered on TI, we forget things like the address. It's none of our business, right? And members we do have, if you look on the links on the site, there is our GDPR information and all the rest of that. So new member can do that. Renewals are simply, you can literally send out the renewals emails and track who's renewed in the same way you do a new membership registration. So, and then as a treasurer, I tell you, having done it manually and done it with spreadsheets and tried to track everybody and get everybody's emails and send all the renewals and send the reminders, and you can do all that from here, which makes life so much easier. Any questions before I move on?
I've got a few questions if you want, or you can take them later. I don't mind.
Well, let's deal with them. Deal with them now, Rob.
Okay. So just a kind of a fairly trivial thing. Are you using two-factor authentication continuously, or only once? Only the first time someone's connected?
So we are not using two-factor authentication at the moment. We are using one-factor authentication. Either it's an auth code, an OTP code. So we send you, if you do not have an email address, if you do not have a password registered, we send an OTP code at your bank. If you do have a password, you can either use an OTP code or you can use your password.
Okay, great. It's just inevitably having to support members who can't work out how to reset their password. It's quite interesting, that one.
That's one of the reasons we support OTP codes is to make that journey easier, or try to.
Yeah. Secondly, the ability to pipe people straight into Toastmasters International is very impressive. What if you've got people who aren't quite ready for that stage? Can you use it as a lead collection tool where people can register to attend meetings, but they may want to come to a couple of meetings before you start pressurizing?
Yes. So what we actually have in our guest email is, you're welcome to attend as many meetings, welcome to attend more meetings. But if you wish to pursue, um, the truth is it's not as refined as it could be. That's certainly one of the features on our future list, is to be able to be more active on handling that sort of guest to member funnel more actively. At the moment, it is, register for the email list. We do use that email list to send out pre-meeting notes sometimes, but we're mainly still using Meetup to do the pre-meeting registration stuff for room size and things.
Yeah.
Again, that's something we've thought about. One of the things I would love to get all of your guys' feedback on as we now and as we progress is, what are the killer features for you, right? What is it that is most useful? What are we missing that makes it easier for you to run your club? So if it is guest to member flows or it is something else, then where we focus our efforts can change.
I think when you talked about renewing existing members, that actually is going to ring a bell for quite a lot of clubs, particularly treasurers.
Yeah, having done it several times, it's painful.
Yep.
Just kind of keep track of getting everything sent out, getting all the details correct.
Yep.
The fees for
Running.
renewing are really easy. The fees for new members can
Okay.
be
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, running a spreadsheet of who are your existing members, which ones are no-brainers, they're definitely going to join, which ones you've got to kind of do a little bit of sales on, etc., etc. So streamlining that process is good. I mean, yes, obviously, quick conversion of inquiries to members is useful, and there are undoubtedly people who come to one meeting and go, "Yes, I want to do this."
And then and some people want to come to more meetings, and obviously that's good too, right?
Yeah.
It's not there's no there's no forcing in these processes, right? The goal is to make life easier.
Okay. I got one final techie question. Having built WordPress sites for a number of clubs, could I have access to this via a subdomain and still keep the WordPress site running on the main domain?
You can't have it on a subdomain right now. It basically would stand on its own domain
Okay.
still.
All right. Well, okay, fine. So we have a domain specifically for that. That's fine. Okay.
Cool. All right. Any last questions before I move on to some of the newer and cooler stuff?
Yes, Rory. Can I just ask, when you say you have the QR code for visitors to register or to add in their email addresses, is that just the one QR code for each meeting, which goes into the guest book? Thanks,
Right. So
Florian.
the guest book, yes. So there is a single link which goes into the guest book,
Perfect.
and we generate. We should be able to generate. Do we generate? There is, I think, a feature that's been on my mind that I haven't actually done, which is to auto-generate the guestbook QR code.
Oh, that would be useful.
Yes,
Okay.
no, it's exactly it's always in the middle of a demo that you think, oh, that'd be a really useful
Yes.
feature. Or I've thought of it more than once, but it's
Okay. Put it on the list.
put it on the list.
Thank you.
So now the biggest new feature in the past year is really meeting management. So even before Easy Speak's going through ructions and redevelopment, this is something I've wanted to do in ToastHost, and with Tanin's help, we've progressed this a lot further than I would have done alone. Is to really then support club meetings, because I think there is an opportunity here to do much more with the integration of user workflows than Easy Speak can achieve. So let's go through the process. By the way, there's a second window over here, and I'm going to come to what this is in a second. It'll become obvious in a moment. So if I go to meetings, here are Grosvenor Square's upcoming meetings or previous and upcoming meetings. But what I'm going to do is create a new meeting. And I'm going to create a new meeting for today. And I'm going to start it, let's say 1930. So your club settings automatically has the address. You can pick from various agendas. You can create your own. Names are bad. If you have a word of the day or a theme, you can set those. Create a meeting. Now, instead of right. So this is how to work my own site. Now, this meeting is unscheduled. Right? It doesn't, just like if you create an unscheduled meeting in EasySpeak, it's not visible to anybody. But if you think about it, I'm assuming everybody here has used EasySpeak or is familiar with it. So it's basically a modern version of that. But because it's a modern version of that, there's a whole bunch of things we can do to make life a little easier. So here's your default template. You can create new templates. You can edit the template. I'm not going to go through all of that today. What I will show you is, for example, I can assign. I'm going to assign Ada as a Toastmaster. So if you want to, just in the same way you would schedule meetings in EasySpeak, you assign roles. Now, one of the things we can do, what I'm going to do is I am actually going to schedule the meeting. So this is another one of our members, just a normal club member, logged in. What the member sees is they see some of the top level stuff, but they don't have, obviously, they don't have all the editing access that a club officer would have. But if I schedule the meeting, now, Monday the 8th. Got to try and get the right one now, right? So this is, right. So this is the user's view of a pre-meeting. So one of the things that, in this case, Maria can do is she can request a role. The request is sent. This. What you see here is there's a pending request. So as a VPE, you can this is not quite working right. So Maria has requested a speech as a VPE. We can have auto assignment in the same way. I don't know about anybody else, but our EasySpeak is set up just so members can assign themselves. What will have happened though is Maria will receive an email saying, or sorry, our VPE will receive an email saying Maria has requested a speech. And if we want her to, we can accept the speech and it will notify Maria that she has been accepted for the role. All your standard things exist. We can generate a PDF version of this. One thing you can do is for guests that turn up at the meeting, someone can click share. So this is, you can imagine this is on Maria's phone. So she can just share the meeting, someone can click it and you can share the meeting. What we also do is actually the QR code that we generate is static. So what we've actually done at Crescent Square is we printed out and laminated several cards with a QR code on that we leave around the room when we start the meeting, which means that anybody comes in, doesn't have to try and remember, they just scan the code, jump into the meeting. Guests and members can both join the meeting. So once you schedule a meeting, we can actually start the meeting. Now the meeting's already in progress. So one thing you do have to remember to do is close your previous meeting. So I'm going to finish the previous meeting. So I can go back to Clearly set the date wrong, and I can now start the meeting. I know how this works. I do. All right, let's cheat. Let's set the let's update the time so I can start my own meeting. Never give demos, children. Never give demos.
I feel your pain, Rory. Done it many times.
That's because I didn't actually update the date correctly, did I? It's the 30th. That's why all the dates are wrong. Right. Shall we try this again? Hooray! Hooray! It's amazing. I lose the ability to type when I give presentations, and apparently I lose the ability to manage the tools I built myself. So this meeting is now live, and what you're seeing here is on the right-hand side, you're seeing what a normal club member would see or a guest would see. On the right, you're seeing what an officer would see. So what we do is you can see the timings. As we go through, if I say, well, the Sergeant at Arms is done, you'll see it gets knocked out. And once the President's instructions done, so it's very easy to track where in the meeting you are. Now, normally, obviously, we would have all of your roles assigned, but tabletop is a bit odd, right? Because it's actually multiple people. So during table topics, it's because I'm doing it in the wrong place. You're going to have different speakers, right? And it's going to be dynamic. It'll either be done at the start of the meeting or can be done on the fly. If you've got guests, you can add them. You can add them on the fly. Now, the fun part here is, I don't know about everybody else, but those, lots of slips of paper. When in the meeting you want to vote for best table topics, we can actually do that and you can vote interactively. So every member who's got their phone open can just go in and do this. So we actually run Grosvenor Square and a couple of other clubs now basically run paperless meetings, which is quite fun. So we normally have one person managing the meeting in this view. So you can open and close the table topic sessions. You can have votes for best evaluators, and if we add evaluators up at the top, they'll be filled in. Speakers, I'm going to add Rob as a speaker. So when a speaker has spoken, you can actually give them, let's put speaker one in, put Aaron in as speaker one. Now, feedback, that's the best speaker vote. So once you've got your speakers, we can actually do the feedback interactively as well. So the idea here, instead of those little notes, which I can't read, we give some hints and you can say, language, you can submit anonymously, submit feedback. Now, if you are logged in, if a member of the club is logged in and they're registered for their speech, they can actually go in and get their own feedback. If not, or if your member doesn't have access, you can actually then get all the feedback and export it as a PDF and give it to them. Either email it to them or print it and give it to them. So that works for certain members that are less technical savvy. And what we normally have in our meeting is we'll have like the link to the guest book, our WhatsApp group, information on becoming a member, and all these links will be at the bottom of everybody's page.
Rory, can I just ask, for the feedback, is it just the club officers who see all the feedback?
Yes.
So I can't expect that all the members will see the feedback to one particular speaker.
No, each speaker can give feedback to everybody that spoke. each member can give feedback to everybody that spoke. The officers can go in and so the member who spoke can see their own feedback. If they're a guest to the club, for example, as an officer, I can come in, I can see the feedback, and I can export it as a PDF for them, or I can send it to them.
Okay. But all members can't see the
No,
feedback.
no, it is still
Okay,
private within
private.
sensible
Okay.
bounds.
Yes, thank you.
So there you go. This is a very quick and slightly mucky tour of running a meeting with ToastHost. Any questions there? I don't. There will be. Tanya is doing a wonderful job of actually presenting much more detail and much more information about the various features, and I will be sharing those later. What we've actually found is it's increased the amount of feedback members get.
Yes. Yes,
which is
I
really
quite
nice.
agree.
We get feedback from most participants now, including
Yes.
guests, and
And
you can read it.
I like the prompts as well. So are those automatically generated depending on the
Yeah,
project?
they're a static list
Oh,
of
okay.
things, nudges to. Again, if you have ideas about how to improve things like that, what would make it best for members to give active feedback?
If it were aligned to the project they are using.
Oh, now there's an idea, right? We know what the project is if they're assigned a project. That would
Because
be a
that's
great idea.
something members don't always do. They just give generic feedback without.
Yes,
And if the
because
Toastmaster doesn't explain the project, they don't know what they're looking for feedback on.
I'm literally writing that down right now because that is a great idea.
Yes.
No, this is one of the reasons for doing these things is actually, and that's the thing I want you to remember, right? All the people involved in this project, we're Toastmasters, we're doing this because we care about this stuff, right? Love feedback, right? There is sharp edges in here, and I know where the bodies are buried. There are many sharp edges in here, right? We are trying to make it as intuitive, as easy to use as possible, and as powerful as possible. I love the idea of in the feedback dialogue actually putting what the project, not just who it is, but the project title and maybe the project description as well.
And I have a problem with the term best speaker, best evaluator, best table topics, because that's automatically excluding those new people who aren't quite as good as the others. I know it gives them the motivation to improve, but I would like it to be the best compared with their previous. To them, the best what they have done in the past, not the best out of the meeting. Or most improved. I don't know. What does anybody else think?
I know what you're saying, right? When you have a new person who's done an amazing table topic for where they're at, and you get an old hand who just rolls away with it. Who
It
you
can be
vote for
demoralizing.
cannot necessarily be the best speaker, right? It's the one that impressed you the most in various ways. I'm really open to better terminology. If you can think of a better phraseology, I'm more than,
You asked about the recent, what is the additional features you are looking forward for? One major stuff would be the transferring of the past meeting data. That is one of the concerns for multiple clubs which I'm associated with. Because if you started using it is great for voting, it is great for feedback, and it is so quick in terms of organizing an agenda and publishing it. It's so great because we have been using it so intensely. But the problem is, how do I access the past data of all our meetings? Okay, that is one thing, one feature. And the other one would be when you're hosting the new meetings, further meetings, like you want to have more meetings in queue, how multiple meetings organized, because that is one of the tasks for the VPEs to have multiple meetings organized in advance. So those are the features which we would be eagerly looking forward, which will make our jobs much easier.
So I'm going to give you a brief answer to both of those things. History import from EasySpeak is actively being worked on. You should see some news about that in the next 2-3 weeks, realistically. But we have, this is the meeting planning view. If you've ever used EasySpeak, has a version a bit like this, which is much easier to see meetings over time, so you can try and make sure they're well balanced. Other things that have recently been added is we have the knowledge of all the recent pathway changes, so you can now track both your members' progress and members can see their own progress. Obviously, what we're missing, as you say, is a bunch of the back data. So often we see like, you've completed speeches in level 3, but they haven't done level, so we are actively working on that. So expect new news on that in the next little while. Because as an avid user of it as well, I have exactly the same issue, right? It's a known shortcoming, and it took a while to work out how to do it well. So
yeah, and also some missing data in terms of the pathways completion, because I can verify and validate with my own data, because I'm pursuing 2 pathways. The data is already being pulled from TI website, and I see it populated into ToastHost, but there are some missing data. That could be the small glitches you guys are already fixing.
No, and that's it. I'm not going to lie, there will be glitches, right? There will be mistakes. That's what we have, a support WhatsApp group. We have email addresses, ping us, right? There will be bugs. There always software but Rob will know this. If you write software, developers turn coffee into bugs, right? And then
it's true.
That's what we do.
But it is so reassuring to see these gaps getting filled. It's like a zigzag puzzle of so much of issues we had. And as each one is getting fixed, I personally feel like, it's a very useful tool, which is making our jobs easier.
So I really do. And this is the original idea, and the future goals is to make both club officers' jobs and members' jobs in terms of tracking their own progress much easier. And we're sort of syncing various bits of data to try and make sure there is no one source of truth, unfortunately.
Kanti has said,
Yes,
could I
Kanti.
please ask who maintains ToastHost and who provides the technical enhancements to the tool from time to time? Thank you, Kanti.
Thank you, Kanti. Yes. So the people that are providing new features are myself and Tanin. And the people that I'd say are working on it are myself, Tanin, and Florian is actively involved in planning, future work, analysis, bug reporting. To be honest, Tanin has been involved with the project from when it was just an idea in my head, and we did some stuff for the district, and I did some websites, and he's been a constant companion through the entire journey. And that's one of the things. It's one of the things I actually love about it being a Toastmasters thing, right? Is everybody is so willing to be involved and open and flexible. So yes, it's. Hope that answers your question.
I was going to comment on the provision of feedback as a potential enhancement for you. Could the feedback be pushed in real time to the speaker by SMS or WhatsApp, so they actually, while they're sitting here in the meeting during the minute of silence, they get stuff popping up on their phone?
Sorry, Rob. What I thought you said there is, could it be pushed in real time? It already is. If the feedback was for Maria here, she'd be able to see her feedback here as it came in.
Right, so she's sitting with the website open on her phone, and
if she has the meeting website open on her phone, or is even on the main page, you can actually see the feedback. And actually, when the meeting is over, she can also see her past speeches and the feedback associated with them.
Right. So she doesn't have to refresh the screen. It's just Ajaxing
Nope.
it in.
If you've noticed, this screen automatically ticks in as I make changes
Yeah,
to
of course. Yeah, yeah.
The idea of an in progress, doing that in progress is like when we open voting and so on, it enables it on everybody's phones, it closes it. So yeah, they're fully interactive. So you can see if I tick off people, they should they're actually ticking off down here as the messages come through. No, I thought that was quite important. Right. Any more? Have I covered everybody's questions?
In building, this is a bit of an oddball one, but in building the agenda, could the meeting manager put in 2 table topics sessions? I asked that from a real world situation. I have a club in my area who sometimes don't manage to muster a speaker at all, in which case I tell them, well, just do 2 rounds of table topics. The meeting's not a failure. You just have lots more table topics and no prepared speeches. Can you have more than one instance of table topics in the meeting?
No. Not for any it's a case I've never thought of.
Yeah.
As in I don't think so right now. But
That's why I chucked it in.
But it is possible. Yeah. No, I've seen situations like that, right? Where stuff has gone, where you've suddenly got a lot of time and time to kill, and it's worth doing 2 rounds or something. Yeah. Not right now. And I've got to be honest, it's probably not a priority item for the things we want to fix right now, but it could be in the future.
I've got one other question, or maybe it's a comment rather than a question. Where you get people who just turn up for a meeting without having booked beforehand, could it be quite straightforward to get their registration details on a phone, or the club have a tablet to capture people's data when they have just turned up as cold visitors?
Yes. So we do that. So if they're guests, we obviously have the guest book link,
Right.
which we have a QR code for. So we don't have a share button for the QR code. We do have for the meeting.
Yeah, fine. So guest turns up, you're showing the QR code, they're onto their phone and they're registering.
Yep.
Right, brilliant.
And they're now on your guest list.
Yep.
Rory, there's a question from Todd that I don't think has been answered. Is there a handbook on how to use ToastHost? If yes, could we get a copy emailed to me? I'm a Toastmasters in 5 district.
Todd, quick answer. No, we are working on improving our documentation. We can support other districts. You can email us and we can talk about it. Yeah, no, we are absolutely 100% looking to support more districts. We focus on District 91 because that's where I'm from so far, and I know everybody here. So yeah, so last few things. When the meeting's over, a bit like Easy Speak, you do need to finish the meeting. At that point, it will update everybody's speech progress and so on. I'm going to do that now. So yeah, so that's the bulk of. I'm not going to go through all of this right now because I haven't set it up even for me on my test setup. But one of the key things here is we want to help the members manage their journey as well. And there's a whole bunch of features we have in the future to potentially be able to send nudges to people, reminding them, of future meetings, of remember to book a speech. You haven't spoken in a while, tools to help the VPE run, manage, actively encourage members. I want, when I say I want to help clubs run themselves, what I mean is all those tasks that, what makes a great club, right? A great enabled VPE, nudging members, keeping track of who's engaged, all that stuff really helps, right? And things like mentorship. If your club has a great mentorship program, but it takes a lot of effort to run a mentorship program to keep everybody tied up and make sure people are engaged. And we're hoping to provide tools to help with that kind of thing as well. Yes, Janet.
When you're doing a nudge to members, for example, yes, it's time you spoke again. Would it be possible to put a link into their next project, a link into the email to their next
Right.
project?
This is the thing with data, and this is a wonderful thing about IT. Because the system knows where you're at, it can say, these are your next projects. Have you considered giving a speech?
That would be
So,
ideal. And just
yeah,
making sure they have the link so they go straight into
they can go
Basecamp.
straight to request a speech, request this speech, right? And they go to the request page and they type in their title, right?
Yeah, that sounds good. Is that functional now or not?
No,
Not yet. Okay.
no. So we don't do. So there's a few features that will be coming. I say early next year. We have a roadmap of things that we want to work on. One of the key things that I want to do is this, like, there's a meeting coming up on a week. There, you're reminding people of roles they have, right? So you've signed up as Toastmaster, a few days before or the day before, right? Here's the Zoom link to the meeting, right? And
Yes.
what they've signed up for.
And what about either a meeting role like the knowledge base on Easy Speak, or where clubs can put in their own description of what that meeting role entails?
So all of the roles do have meeting descriptions. I
Oh,
don't think we have
perfect.
customized ones at the moment.
No, that's fine. It's all good. The generic one. I haven't looked at it. Okay. Thank you.
Rory, there was a question from Rob in the chat. I replied, but
Anthony Moore direct messaged me, so I've just posted it in the public post, which is: will pathways and roles selected be registered on Toastmasters International automatically?
No. There is no integration with Toastmasters International directly. I would love there to be. One of the challenges in general with reminding, and it will be with the new pathways, is there is no real tracking of which roles people have done. So one of the things we now do is we do track the roles people have done and how they fit with their pathways journey. Because for each level now you have to do certain roles and a certain number of times as part of the new pathways. There's no good data linkage, so we rely on either the club member or the club officer recording certain information so we can track. For example, whether you have to do the roles depends on whether you were on that level before they announced the new setup. There's some really weird little rules in there.
But in spite of anyone, with whichever club they are being part of, but their Toastmaster International data of their projects are updated regularly. So you are reading a lot of data from Toastmaster directly. If they are an officer, there's a one-way read, which you are pulling data from them. So in that way, you could pull the actual pathway completions from Toastmaster.
We work with a district to get the membership list regularly, and that will tell you which levels you have completed, but only that. It doesn't provide any other data in a form we can consume. So we will, again, this is all, think about it. I think about this as a club officer myself. How can I make our lives easier? So as we expand this out, there will be more features to try and make sure that we're in sync, right? And give a sync view to members and so on. And try and make it as easy as possible to keep these things up to date. There probably is no perfect solution because we don't have full access to like a member's pathway data in pathways, right?
Okay.
For example.
So, I assume that you're reading data directly from Toastmaster International, but you're getting consolidated data from District 91.
No, we have the membership list from District 91. and we have previous, the data recorded in the system, and a few other bits and pieces like you can infer some data, but you can't infer it all.
Okay.
So, Roy, we have a question, a very good question from Kanti. Thank you, Kanti. How could someone from my club explore the tool to
Yes,
begin
this is a
with?
great question.
Do we need to purchase a license, or could we have a free trial period to explore?
So, yes, it's a great question. One of the things that we have decided to do with ToastHost is we are going to start charging a monthly/yearly fee in the new year. When you will get there'll be a month's free trial period for your club when you sign in. It's supposed to start payment on 1st of January, but we may delay that because I'm not sure we're quite ready. We want to make sure we're feature complete enough before we start that. And I think based on the fact it's December the 1st tomorrow and we have no way to capture that. So that's a different discussion. But at some point in the very near future, we will send out emails. So there will be, until that point, it'll be free to use. After that point, we will start a 1-month trial. And after that, you'll be asked to pay a monthly fee. The price we've settled on is $7.99 a month, or $79.99 for a year. So it's 2 months off if you do a yearly subscription. Yeah, so that's where we're at. But I think we're so one of the the honest answer here is one of the things we want to do is make ToastHost sustainable, so we can keep developing it. One of the challenges with EasySpeak, and I know there's a lot of people trying to keep the lights on now, is the fact there is no funding model for it, and that's a challenge, right? Yes, Janet.
I know you've got the WhatsApp group.
Yes.
Is there a contact us feature that if
Yes, there
somebody's
is.
here?
If you go
Okay.
onto the site, you will. I didn't put up there. There you go. So go to the site, email us at support.
Oh,
There is
perfect.
also a ToastHost WhatsApp support WhatsApp group, which you can ask any questions you like on. All those details are on the site as well. Oh, pardon me.
Thank you. Brilliant, Rory.
I know we're out of technical
Yep.
time. I'm happy to answer any more questions that people want, but I'm also aware of people's evenings. So first of all, let me just say thank you for attending. I hope it's been interesting and useful. As I said, I'm a Toastmaster, Tanin's a Toastmaster, Florian's a Toastmaster. The whole reason we've spent time and effort on this stuff is I think this is important. I think we should be spending time focusing on members' journeys and making Toastmasters better, right? Making it so we can spend more time doing the helping members grow and less time doing club mechanics. And we've built tools both for the clubs, and we've actually, some of the tools that you don't see that haven't been demonstrated today have been for the district, help the district manage various parts of their process as well, because all of these things help us focus on that journey, right? I don't know about anybody else here. Toastmasters made a huge difference for me personally because of the skills I've learned and the pleasure I've got out of working with a load of other people feeling the same. So this is our way of contributing back. And it was really interesting because Tanin had the same idea. So Tanin turned up one meeting with an app he had written on his phone to do Timekeeper. Right? That's how our discussion about combining forces, as you said, Rajan, really got started. Because it was hilarious. So yeah, so that's it. So as I say, any more
Fantastic.
questions, I'm happy to answer them. Otherwise, thank you all so much. Do keep in touch. Do come and ask questions. do join the WhatsApp group. Send me an email. There's rory@toasthost.co.uk as well. Drop me a line. I'm always happy to answer any questions and try and help support your journeys. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much indeed, Rory. I will be sending out the video to all those who had registered. So if you have people who say, oh, tell me more about ToastHost, you can just send them the video link and it'll be on our YouTube channel as well. But thank you.
And there'll be lots more little videos explaining all the individual features in much clearer detail than I have today.
Fantastic. Rory, that's tremendous work. Well, thank you to you and Tanin and Florian for making our life so much easier, as you say. So
and lots of other people. Let me be clear. This has been, over the last 8 years, so many people have supported my sort of vague, like, I want to make things better. And given so much feedback and tried things, it's been wonderful.